Welcome once more, ladies and gentlemen, to the Castle of Madness that is the Adventures in Historyland YouTube channel. You can call me Lando, and I hope you stick around because we have a great video for you today.
Yeah, we talked a lot about how many British historians have been unfair. Unfortunately, you get a reaction in Spain, and
yeah, glad you mentioned that, because I was going to ask about the other side of the coin anyway.
We come here to a particularly unfortunate incident in which I was involved at a conference in Warsaw, organised by the Polish government, essentially about Polish participation in the Peninsular War. And Albuera is the only major battle where British troops and Polish troops come to blows. And it's a famous charge of the Polish Lancers. Now, Albuera is completely unchanged. You can see exactly how it happened. It advances. The French are basically sitting on the north end of a long north-south ridge. And Colborne advances diagonally from, if you like, from the northwest. So he's coming up the slope. And as he goes up the slope, this French cavalry force approaches under the lee of the hill. And because of the slope, the way in which the slope is configured, it's quite clear that Colborne and his men wouldn't have seen them until the last minute, and it didn't help that there was also a torrential downpour. Anyway, and this brigade gets wiped out. But fresh troops come up, Horton's brigade, Abercrombie's brigade, and they take up position on what gets called the Fatal Hill, and the Spaniards reform behind them. And these troops advance. They gradually advance in a long, prolonged firefight, but they push forward, and then Meyer's brigade, the Fusilier brigade, comes up and attacks over the same ground that Colborne did, but by this time the French cavalry
gone somewhere.
and the French were overwhelmed and driven back. Now, I had a great deal of experience of operating at what you might call the official level of commemorations, and I had to present a paper on the Battle of Albuera at this conference, and there's a big Spanish delegation, and I was very, very careful in what I said. I was very careful to exclude all the sources which said that the Spaniards were useless. I was very, very careful to give the Spaniards full credit within the parameters that we've been talked about. Anyhow, there was a Spanish military historian in the Spanish delegation, and he gets up and he gives this absolutely outrageous paper. And his version of the battle is that yes, the heroic Spaniards who put up such a good fight at the start of the battle, yes, they're forced to fall back because they've run out of ammunition, but they regroup and ranks are restored and more Spanish troops come up and join them. And meanwhile, the Anglo-Portuguese are launching attack after attack on the hill, and they are beaten off. And lo and behold, the Spanish army, marches to the rescue, marches through the British lines, and clears the French away at the bayonet.
Okay.
And I was incandescent with rage. Amongst the other things, and they come out with the Spanish equivalent of all this British stuff, which I'd excised.
Yeah.
Lots of rumours and so forth. And one of the things they said that the British casualty list, 40% of Beresford's troops, the British casualty list is as high as it was partly because the British tactics were so bad, and partly because the British had falsified their casualties.
Okay.
Now, this was not appropriate behaviour.
No, not at all.
To put it mildly. And I was absolutely furious. And there was actually a Polish government minister who was actually presiding, and I said, "Your Excellency, this is the most serious slur against the forces of Her Majesty's government, and I demand, as British representative, I demand a right of reply." And I proceeded basically to boot this scoundrel around the room, and I mean, I phrased it diplomatically,
Of course.
And I said, Your Excellency, I really don't wish this conference to end in pistols at dawn in the Saxon Gardens, which is the place where you go to fight duels in Warsaw.
Of course.
But yeah, and it's something else. There have been other incidents like that. And so you get Spaniards producing an equally distorted view the other way around. It's not just a British problem. It's mutual ignorance. It's mutual incomprehension. The British don't understand the problems that the Spaniards were facing, and the Spaniards don't understand the problems that the British were facing.
Hey, Lando here. If you liked that video and want to see more, leave a like, subscribe, tell me what you thought in the comments, and I'll see you next time for another adventure in Historyland. Via con Dios.